Wool Gang, and welcome back to Chestnut Woolen Mill. We are on part 2 of our Mitten series. This is for a basic mitten. Nothing fancy here. If you know how to knit and you know how to purl and you want to try using double pointed needles, this is the pattern for you. It's very, very simple. The pattern that I am giving you is an oral tradition pattern. I explained this in my first video, Knit a Mitten, the cuff, which I will link in the description box below. I am also writing out the pattern in the description box below, so you can screenshot that and work on this project at your leisure, and maybe just use the video as a companion video in case you get stuck or you need to see how something is done. These patterns that I offer on Chestnut Woolen Mill are absolutely free patterns. You can use them to knit for family, for friends, for the church bazaar. You can use them for a craft fair. I don't care if you sell what you produce from these patterns that I am offering you here. Doesn't matter to me. I just want the traditional crafts to succeed in today's modern world. So that's what we're here doing. So for today's video, I'm hoping to capture the entire hand in one video. Let's hope. So I think in order to be able to do that, I'm just going to omit the mundane rows, which are strictly the knit rows, and I'll work with everyone on the increase rows and on the decrease rows. And so there'll be some jump cuts in this live pre-recorded video. So what you're going to need for today's video is your size 6 double pointed needles. You're going to need your 2.5 inches of cuff. You're going to need a scrap yarn and a yarn needle, because we're going to have to put our thumb gusset on a little holder. With that being said, we are now going to start by changing to our larger needles, our size 6, and this is all knit rounds from now on in the project. So we are going to knit off all of our stitches onto our larger needle. I'm really hoping that this angle is actually working for people, because we had to move out of the Fiber Podcast studio temporarily. We're putting up extra shelving, and I needed to move along, says my contractor / my husband. So very shortly, once the shelving is up and a little bit of added sheetrock is on, we'll be moseying back into the Fiber Podcast studio. But until then, we're going to be at the kitchen table doing some work. Oh, we got a little thing on there. A little bit of outside stuff. I was in the barn before I came in to do this video. For those of you who don't know, we live on a working homestead. And there's quite a bit of chores that have to be done. So we slip videos in when we can. My bowl of yarn still isn't quite long enough to free float in that yarn knitting bowl. So we're just doing a little bit of adjustments here and there. Slide my marker. That is one round, and now I am completely changed onto the larger needles. Now we're going to pause the video. There's going to be a jump cut here. You are going to work on 6 more knitting rows. It's only knit. We keep going in the round. So we're going to work on 6 more of those, and then I will be back. Okay, Wool Gang, we now have 7 rounds all total. The first round, we changed our needle size. We went up 1 size, and then we knit 6 more rounds for a total of 7 rounds. I just like to clarify that for everyone who is working in between the video and the actual written pattern. Now that we've completed that, we're going to move on to the thumb gusset. Now, what I'm going to do for the sake of time savings is I am going to work all the increase rounds with everyone, and then I will pause the video and you can go ahead and knit, plain knit the next round. So for this particular pattern, all the even rounds, round 2, 4, 6, and so on, those are all knit rounds. There's nothing fancy happening on those rounds. On your odd rounds is all the increases. And the only way I can figure to shorten the length of the video is to do the increase rounds with everyone. And then you guys can pause the video and do your knit round and then come back and we'll do the next increase round. So this is the beginning of the thumb gusset, round 1. We are going to knit 23 stitches. This is 14. (22) and 23. And now I am going to increase, and I pick up this ladder in between, and then I simply knit through the back loop. It's just easier if you're going through the front and kind of throw your needle around. And now I'm going to knit 1, and I'm going to make my increase. There we have it. We got our 2 increases, and now I am just going to knit to the end of the mitten. I'm going to slide my marker and knit. Now round 2, you're just going to knit it even, and we'll be back right after I finish that. And so here we are. We're going to be back on round 3, which is an increase round, and we are going to once again knit 23 stitches. I don't know where everyone is from. We're from the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border in the Crown of Maine. And we experienced some pretty cold weather last night. I'd like to know where everybody is from and how your weather is. We are actually season changing once again here in the Crown of Maine. (20, 21, 22, 23). And I am once again going to make 1. Then I'm going to knit 2. and I'm going to make one again. And now I'm just going to knit out the rest of the round. And the following round, round 4, is an even round. So I am going to let y'all pause the video and come back when you are ready to work on round 5. Alrighty then, we finished knitting round 3 and we straight knit round 4. Now we're going to do increase round 5. Once again, we are going to knit 23 stitches. If I can untangle myself, we're going to knit 23 stitches. You'll hear, maybe in the background, you can hear our rather large puppies milling around. We have the rabbits indoors today too. It's just so cold. We started the wood stove for the first time yesterday. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Then we're going to make one. Then we're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to make one again. And then we're going to knit the rest of round 5 out. And you can see right about now you're starting to get a V'd pattern. You can actually, if you're brave enough, you can try your mitten on to see that everything is lining up nicely. This is a side thumb mitten. It's easy and it's comfortable. So I'm going to finish knitting out round 5, and then I am going to knit round 6. So you can pause the video here, and when I come back, we will work on round 7. And for round 7, we begin by knitting 23. For those of you who are wondering, we do have Angora rabbits. I used to breed Angora rabbits. And we are out of the breeding phase now. As you get older, you downsize the farm a wee bit. And that's what we decided to do, is downsize a little bit. In the opening credits, people saw the rabbits, and everybody always asks, what kind of rabbits are they? They are fiber rabbits. "21, 22, 23. We're going to do our make one. We are going to knit 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are going to make one. And you can see right here, your V is being made beautifully for your thumb, and there are no holes in the fabric. So now we are going to knit to the end of round 7. Round 8 is going to be a straight knit round, and you can pause the video now, and then we'll come back and work on round 9. And we are back with our increase row, round 9. And we are going to knit, you guessed it, 23 stitches. A lot of knitting, especially with basic patterns, a lot of the knitting is actually very repetitive. And especially with these oral tradition patterns, things were not complicated back in the old day. Things were very basic. And remember, we had 4- and 5-year-old little girls that used to knit. So they could make basic things such as scarves, hats, mittens, a basic pair of socks. And it was all told to them while they knit. Got 20, 21, 22, 23. And now we're going to make one. And we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we are going to make one. And now we're just going to knit to the end of round 9. Round 10 is a knit round. So you're going to do that. You can pause the video at this point and I will come back on round 11. And now for round 11, we are going to knit our 23 stitches. The beauty of basic patterns is that with a simple needle change, downsizing or upsizing your needles, you can fit the pattern to different size hands. You can add stitches for a bigger hand if you'd like. You can subtract stitches for a smaller hand if you'd like. And then once you have a basic pattern, you can absolutely add embellishments. Like you could, if you know how to do color work, you can do a color work chart that fits into the stitches. So you can really have cabling, a lot of possibilities once you have a basic pattern. You can turn a basic pattern into your own, which is absolutely wonderful. 21, 22, and 23. I am going to make one. And I'm going to knit 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to make one. And now you are going to knit for the rest of the round. And then you are going to do your knit round, which is round 12. And I will see you back here on round 13 when we are actually going to put the gusset stitches onto our holder. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on round 13, and we are going to be taking our gusset stitches and we're going to be putting them on a holder. This process is not as daunting as it sounds. So we're going to get our extra bit of yarn. And we are going to put it on our needle. And this is going to be our yarn holder for our gusset because we're not fancy around here. And I don't have any commercial yarn holders. little extra thread, a little extra yarn, and a needle can go a long way when you're knitting. So the first thing we are going to do is knit 22 stitches. Here we have 14. This seems daunting and it can seem a little complicated, especially if you've never made a mitten before, but it is really, really easy to get your thumb gusset situated. So we got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now you're going to take your needle with your length of yarn and you're going to take off 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're just going to pull that through. And I just make a little knot, tie my two ends together. Some people just let their ends hang without doing a tiny knot. I do a little knot. And now you're going to see the triangle to your thumb is popping out. Now we need to close the gap. And we have our working yarn here. So I'm going to cast on 2 stitches, 1 and 2. So now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches here, and then we are just going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and that puts the 14 stitches back onto your needle. And you can try, if you're brave enough, you can try your mitten on and see how you're going along and that there's no holes. Oh, no holes in your seaming. I lost the camera there for a minute. No holes in your thumb gusset. So you're going to stay nice and toasty warm. And we're going to just knit to the end of round 13. And it looks like this is going to be a 2-part series, this little hand situation that we have going here. So I'm going to give you the instructions right now. So 13, round 13, we have the thumb gusset down. And from this point forward, your next rounds are going to be to knit in the round until your hand measures 6 inches from the ribbing. There we have it. So we're going to go until we measure 6 inches from the ribbing. Now here is the absolute beauty of just learning a basic pattern. So you're going to start here and measure 6 inches up. Now here's where you can adjust for your hand size. Some people's hands are shorter than others. For me, the 6 inches will work, but it comes to about here, and this is where we're going to start the decrease of the actual mitten. So you can measure your own hand or the hand of somebody that you're going to give your project to, and you can gauge where on their hand from the ribbing the inches that you're going to need precisely. Some people need 5.5 inches. Some people need just over 6 inches. It just depends on the length of your hand that you're making this mitten for. And when you just have a basic mitten, here's where the personalization, the customization comes in. It works the same way for socks. If you knit socks, people's feet are generally different sizes, the foot length, and you can customize the foot of the sock to fit the person that you're going to be giving the sock to. Same thing for the mittens. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and knit until I reach 6 inches from the top of the ribbing, and we'll be back with part 2 of the mitten hand.